But I guess the question is, what is it you would go to school for? What is it you go to work for? Is it just a paycheck? Is it just knowledge if you're going to college? Or is it something that's way deeper that you absolutely need? And if you don't have the things that you need, this one thing will get you the things that you need, which is wisdom. Wisdom. Wisdom is knowing what to do in the right situations. Should you go north or south? Depends. Where are you trying to go? Trying to go to Sacramento? Go north. If I tell you, oh, Sacramento, go south. That's an unwise decision. If I tell you, if you say, oh, I'm gonna go to TJ, got to go south, don't go north. Unwise of you to go north. There isn't like one answer that's necessarily gonna fit everything. It's having the right answers at the right situations at the right time. Knowledge is helpful for that. Knowledge will give you the skill set that you need. Knowledge will give you the ideas and the things that you need. Wisdom will teach you how to apply it. It's like those two parts of you, man. You have the mind and the body, of course. Which one should you prioritize? Yes, they work together. They work together. You have an intellect and you have emotions. Should you be emotional or should you be intellectual? Yes. Yeah. Your emotions tell you the things that you want. Your intellect tells you how to get them, and also helps you decide if you actually should want those things. And so, should you have knowledge or should you have wisdom? Yes. Your knowledge tells you the things that gives you the skill sets. The wisdom teaches you how to apply it. There's some important words to learn to really add to your vocabulary. One of them is yet, and so far. It's like, oh my gosh, this is the worst day I've ever had. So far, so far. You know, oh man, I suck at this task. I can't do this yet. People will talk like this. They'll say, I mean, I'm not the smartest person in the world. There's only one smartest person in the world. None of us. That's not the real standard. You know, the most and the least aren't the real standard. The real standard is that average in the middle. And so when people think of themselves like, oh, I'm the least lucky person in the world. No, there's someone out there who's less lucky. I could probably introduce you to some people. I have some friends that, if it wasn't for bad luck, they'd have no luck at all. And then of all the people I know, I think I'm probably the luckiest person that I know. There was something, I can't remember what it was. Oh, remember last semester when you got back in December, I had that guy up on the board and we're gonna vote on whether or not to pass him. Yeah, and then the vote didn't go my way. Remember? You might remember that. I was sitting at the desk, I'm like, this is strange. This didn't go my way. Like, what's that feeling? It feels like, what do they call it, disappointment or something like that? Is this what people usually feel? And you're saying like, yeah, this is how most people feel all the time when things don't go their way. I'm like, that's really weird when things don't go your way. Yeah, I'm very lucky. Am I the luckiest? No, I do know some. I mean, I imagine there have to be some luckier people in the world. And so rather than thinking of ourselves as like uniquely blessed or uniquely cursed, if you have to choose between those two, think of yourself as uniquely blessed. It'll help you appreciate things more. But before we start thinking of like, oh, I'm the least lucky person in the world, or no, there's always people who have things worse. Now, but that's not the metric. You know, it's like for example, I bet that I would guarantee actually that if we're looking at the world, in terms of the world, that you guys in this room right now probably represent the 10% wealthiest people in the world. Now, you might say, I'm not wealthy, we're poor. You know, we're poor. Not compared to entire continents of people. Yeah, but you know, I'm not Jeff Bezos. Well, only Jeff Bezos is. I'm not Elon Musk. Is that the standard? The richest people in the world? Or are we looking at overall in the world? Because if your standard is the richest person in the world, well then yeah, you're always going to feel unlucky, and you're always going to feel, like uniquely cursed. Oh, I don't have it as good as that one person, but man, I guess here's a question. Here's a real question to ask yourself. Do you have it as good as you need it? And that's a real question. Do you have it as good as you need it? In other words, do you have what you need in order to make a successful life? Do you have what you need in order to have a prosperous life? Well, I mean, not to have like a life like Elon Musk. Not the extremes, man. Most of the world is not the extremes. One of my favorite pastimes is going online and listening to college students complain about how unfair systems are. I was listening to yesterday some students at Yale who were complaining about how unfair the world is and systems of inequality. I'm like, you are literally the top 0.5% of people in the whole world, and you're complaining about how unfair things are for you. Yeah. To the person who could find unfairness, is there unfairness in the world? Yeah, of course. Of course. I look at some of you guys when you walk in here, I think this is totally unfair. I have students who are like 6 feet tall, giants, right? On 6'2" or so, big people. And I think, oh man, what sport do you play? None. That's not fair. My life would be way different if I was over 6 feet tall, playing baseball. And so, is it unfair? Yeah, I suppose so. There are people who are better looking than me. 99% of the world. There are people who are better looking than you. There are people who are smarter than you. There are people who are smarter than me. I think it's like 4 or 5 of them in the world. There are people who are luckier, who are born in better situations. And then there are people who were not born into the situations that you're born into. There are people who are not as good looking as you, not as smart as you, not as fill in the blank as you. And it becomes difficult for us to appreciate the things that we have if we're constantly worrying about the things that we don't have, or that we imagine our lives would be better if we did have. So that's that question. Do you have what you need? Do you have enough brains to make it? Do you have enough motivation to make it? Do you have enough here's a great one as we're winding down the last few weeks. Do you have enough education to make it? Do you have the things that you need? There are some people who don't even realize until it's almost too late. I get a lot of scholars in the fourth quarter. Students who will come in and be like, I just figured something out. This one thing we learned would have been useful. Yeah. And I'm not that person who's like, well, you should have figured it out then. I'm like, you figured it out now. Yeah, dope. Better now. We've been better a year ago. We've been better 5 years ago. But it's better now than 10 years from now, or whenever. And so, do you have the education that you need? If you don't have those things that you need, here's your task then. Get them. I didn't get the education I needed. All right, you got the internet available to you now. You've got community colleges available to you. You've got tradesmen available to you. You have a whole world of people out there who really do want to help you. Asterisk. They want to help you as much as you're willing to be helped, as much as you want to be helped. If you're sitting there holding your elbow like, oh, I can't get any opportunities, yeah, people aren't going to help you. If you go to work, you show up early, stay late, talk to people, learn what you can, apply it, there will be people lined up wanting to help you. People who are successful want to help people who are motivated and have drive and ambition and are smart and are willing to show up early and stay late. I'm thinking of a friend of mine who was kicked out of this school. Before I was a teacher here. He was kicked out of here for having a knife. Remember when they used to kick people out for having knives? Yeah. I had a student last year, or the year before that, I think it was last year, who was twice caught with a knife on campus. Once after a fight, and they never suspended him for the knives. They would suspend him for defiance, for bringing the knife. We told you not to bring a knife. He wasn't suspended for having it, he was suspended for bringing it. If you can do the gymnastics on that, good for you. I struggle too. But this friend of mine was kicked out of here for having a knife, and he never came back to school. He went and got a job in construction. He would show up early every day to work. He had to start at 6. He'd show up there at 5:30. He'd get there when the foreman got there. He would ask the foreman, can I just follow you around, see what you do? He's all, sure. So he'd follow him around. Then afterwards, this foreman has to stay afterwards to do paperwork and stuff. He'd ask him, can I stick around, see what you do? Yeah. So he was getting there an hour before. He stayed an hour late. The other people on the job site were all over him about it. Dude, you're such a kiss ass. Dude, you're doing all this work for him. You're doing all this bitch work for him for free, stupid. You aren't even getting paid for this, blah, blah, blah. And then he was a foreman by the time he was in his late 20s. And all the guys who were running their mouths to him, like in their 30s, bodies breaking down after decades of this kind of work, guys in their 40s, guys who could barely walk in their 50s, all the guys who are running their mouths are now working for him. He's a foreman because he showed up early. He stayed late. He didn't get paid for it. Yeah. Yeah. But he does now. He makes way more than those guys. Plus, his body's not getting destroyed. His body's not breaking down. He's able to provide for his family. He had a baby. Well, actually, his girlfriend had a baby, not him. That'd have been weird. I don't care what year it is. His girlfriend had a baby about a year ago or so, and so now he's actually able to show up and actually carry his baby, play with his baby, because he showed up early. He didn't get paid for it back then, but he's getting paid for it now. It catches up. Why do you go to college? Hopefully, because you hope to get some more money later on down the road. But I guess the question is, what is it you would go to school for? What is it that you go to work for? Is it just a paycheck? Is it just knowledge if you're going to college? Or is it something that's way deeper that you absolutely need? And if you don't have the things that you need, this one thing will get you the things that you need, which is wisdom. Wisdom. Wisdom is knowing what to do in the right situations. Should you go north or south? Depends. Where are you trying to go? Trying to go to Sacramento? Go north. If I tell you, oh, Sacramento, go south. That's an unwise decision. If I tell you, if you say, oh, I'm going to go to TJ, got to go south. Don't go north. Unwise of you to go north. There isn't like one answer that's necessarily going to fit everything. It's having the right answers at the right situations at the right time. Knowledge is helpful for that. Knowledge will give you the skill set that you need. Knowledge will give you the ideas and the things that you need. Wisdom will teach you how to apply it. It's like those two parts of you, man. You have the mind and the body, of course. Which one should you prioritize? Yes, they work together. They work together. You have an intellect and you have emotions. Should you be emotional or should you be intellectual? Yes. Yeah. Your emotions tell you the things that you want. Your intellect tells you how to get them. And also helps you decide if you actually should want those things. And so, should you have knowledge or should you have wisdom? Yes. Your knowledge tells you the things that gives you the skill sets. The wisdom teaches you how to apply it. So you need wisdom. And if you're trying to figure out how is it I can get this job, how is it I can get these skills, how is it that I can make this relationship work, all of it, wisdom. The ability to apply the right thing at the right time in the right situation. How do you get wisdom? Trial and error, experience. Period. Whose trial and error? Yes. I learned from you guys how not to be. You guys learn from your teachers how not to be. I learned from you guys how to be. You guys hopefully have teachers in your lives who you can learn to be. You can learn from how to be. Some of you guys have positive influences. By the way, I appreciate you guys. You guys voted me one of the top 10 positive teachers. Positive influences. You guys have wonderful eyes that you guys can overlook the obvious. What is it? What did I tell you the first week of school? I am not a role model. And you guys would go, positive influence. But I appreciate that. I do appreciate that. But you hopefully have some people in your lives who you can learn from. I had 2 master teachers. From one of my master teachers, I learned how to be. That master teacher I told you about her before, Mrs. Hall, she was here for a long 30-something years, man. If any of you guys have older siblings who came here, ask them about Mrs. Hall. They all know Mrs. Hall. Mrs. Hall was universally loved. I never heard a negative word about Mrs. Hall, except from Mrs. Hall. And then another master teacher here. I won't tell you her name. I told last period, I won't tell you her name. From her, I learned how not to be. How not to be. So I was able to take all of Mrs. Hall's 30-something years of teaching wisdom and then now start to apply it to my life, hopefully. There are people around you who can look at you and say, here's some advice for life. Assess it. Use your intellect to assess it. Is it good advice? Is it bad advice? You know it. And use that intellect, in that case, to overcome your emotional. Because you might be like, yeah, but I want to do this one thing, even though you know intellectually it's a bad idea. In other words, you can learn from all kinds of people how to be and how not to be. But you gotta be careful and not limit it just based off of if you like a person or not. You can learn a lot from people, how to be or not to be. There was a teacher here, I remember, who I never heard a positive word about this person. Everybody hated. As universally loved as Mrs. Hall was, this other guy was universally hated. This is a guy who would talk politics in his class before it was fashionable, and he he was supposed to be teaching English. He was always talking politics, and the students would record him and show me, go, look, Scanlon, so-and-so is in class. And he would talk like this and say, it's my opinion. This guy was annoying to listen to. And what he always talked about was politics and business, money. What are you going to learn from an English teacher about money or business or politics? Before I was a teacher, I was a financial planner, meaning that people would bring their money to me, and I would help them invest it. If you guys ever need investment advice, I do that kind of stuff. I used to do it professionally. Now I just do it for funsies. One of the guys I used to work with called me up one day. He goes, "Hey, Scanlon, do you know so-and-so? The teacher I'm talking about." I said, "Yeah." He said, "Dude, they just reached out to our company. He has $3.2 million liquid he wants to invest." Liquid means cash. It means it's not tied up in a house, it's not tied up in assets, it's not tied up in a portfolio. He had $3.2 million cash he wanted them to invest. So now I'll ask that question again. Do you suppose this guy had something he could teach you about finances? That working his entire life as a teacher, he managed to save and have and again, that doesn't even include his house, that doesn't even include his car, doesn't even include any of his assets. This guy knew a little bit about money, but it was masked behind the opinion. If you could get past that, there really was something you could have learned from this person. And sometimes people make it so hard to get wisdom from. Some people make it very easy. Be careful that the people who make it easy, that it's not just because you like what they have to say, but that it really is wisdom. You know, knowledge, easy to get. Knowledge is easy. You want knowledge? Go to the library, start at A, read all the way to Z. When you get done with all those books, you'll be one of the most knowledgeable people in the world. Literally, top 1% knowledgeable people in the world. Now, knowledge is common. Wisdom, hard-earned. True knowledge, by the way, hard-earned. To get real knowledge is hard-earned. Wisdom is even harder earned. So, yeah. Wise people, there's folly in wise people. There has to be, by the way. Because how do you become wise? Well, you make a few mistakes. Yeah. As soon as I said it, I started thinking, going through the Rolodex of mistakes in my head. Most of them so much fun. But sometimes, like, I did that. Yeah. And so learn from as many people as you can, as much as you can, in as many ways as you can. Don't shut off any avenue for learning. You know, you don't refuse to listen to a person because you don't like them for some reason. We still, anybody here really into abusing your spouses? Nobody? Oh, come on. Nobody likes to beat up their significant others? Oh, but it's so much fun. Just ask John Lennon. Next time you're listening to Imagine. Yeah, exactly. One person. Thank you. Any hardcore pedophiles in here? Nobody? Nobody? What? Oh, man. Not even a little bit, huh? All right. Well, keep that in mind next time you listen to Gandhi or you see a bumper sticker that says, "Be the change you want to see in the world." Yeah. The point is not just to disparage John Lennon and Gandhi, two of my least favorite human beings ever exist. It's not just to disparage them, but it's to tell you that the wisdom that you can find in life will be found in some of the strangest places. Wisdom can be found in horrible people, it can be found in great people. And wisdom, I guess, is knowing which is which. Questions, comments, concerns, complaints, criticisms, critiques?